Hi everybody, welcome back and thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to install some locking hubs on the 1955 CJ5. So let's get right into it. All right, I've got the Jeep jacked up. You can see the wheels are off the ground. And for those of you out there that might not know, I just want to show you what locking hubs actually do. So first we're going to remove the hub cap. I've already got it pried most of the way off there. And now we can see the end of the axle shaft. And the outer part here with the 6 bolts, I'm going to call that the hub flange. So it came from the factory with this hub flange, and what this thing does is effectively locks the wheel and the hub to the axle. So anytime the wheel is turning, the axle is also turning. Let me put the camera in here, I'll show you. So right now the Jeep is in 2-wheel drive only, so the front axle is not locked into 4-wheel drive, okay? But if we spin the wheel, you can see the drive shaft still spins. Well, if the drive shaft is spinning, that means the differential is spinning. That means the axles are spinning. So what these locking hubs do is give you the ability to disengage the wheel and the hub from the axle when you're in 2-wheel drive. So when you're going down the road in 2-wheel drive, the axle won't spin, the differential won't spin, and the front drive shaft won't spin at all. It's going to be less wear and tear on all the components up here. It probably will be a little bit quieter in the cab when you're going down the road because all the stuff won't be rotating. And who knows, you might even get a slightly higher top speed. I'm not expecting much in that department, but it'll be interesting to see. And speaking of locking hubs, I just want to take a minute here to say thank you to Kim from Maryland. Kim sent me some original worn front locking hubs from 1960. So Kim's grandfather bought a 1960 Willys pickup truck, kind of like the one we're working on, just a few years newer. He bought it brand new from the dealer in 1959. Kim even still has the original dealer invoice and a little brochure that came along with it. You can see on the top right of the invoice over here is the purchase date, October of 1959. And you look down over here and it shows the model of the truck is actually 1960. Then there's the itemized list of everything that came with the truck, some options and whatnot. And these worn hubs were purchased as an accessory to the truck at the same time that he bought it in 1959. So the truck got passed down and Kim ended up owning it for a while before it ultimately left the family. But she still had the brochure, the original dealer invoice, and these worn hubs. But she was kind enough to reach out to me and ask me if I was interested in the hubs because they were just sitting on the shelf, and I think she wanted them to go to a good home. It was kind of coincidental because of course I'm installing new hubs on the front of my own Jeep right now. So I'm still going to continue with the installation of these new hubs, but I'm going to put the worn hubs on the shelf. And I have in mind that someday I might like to find a flat fender project Jeep for myself, and I'm going to save these hubs for that project. So thanks again to Kim from Maryland for sending those out. I really appreciate it. So here's the new hub. There's a label on top that says 4x2, and then over here it says 4x4. And there's an arrow pointing to the 4x2 right now. So if we turn it to the 4x4, that would lock the hub to the axle. And let me show you how it actually works. Take this apart. And if we take a look at this piece only, you can see the center piece spins, of course. So the axle slides in and locks to the inner spline. But then you can see there's also an outer spline. This one also has notches to fit the outer spline on this part. So right now it's in 2-wheel drive. If I switch it to 4-wheel drive, you can see it pops forward and engages that outer spline. Go back to 2-wheel drive and disengages. So if you look at it from the side, you can see it pops out. That's to engage 4-wheel drive, and that's to disengage. So it's a pretty simple thing, should be easy installation. It did come with a gasket between the two halves here, so we're going to keep that, of course. But the first thing we're going to do is remove the existing hub flange. Now this should just slide right off. Now I'm just going to put this on the parts shelf because the hub is going to replace this part. Now I'm just going to clean up the mating surface here so we get a good seal with our new gasket. We got 2 gaskets in the kit with these things, so we're going to use them. We'll just stick it on here. Should stay while we're getting the bolts in. Now we're going to run all these down with the tool on the lowest setting. Alright, got the Jeep sat back on the ground. Now I'm going to use a torque wrench and set all these to 35 foot-pounds. Now, before we put the outer part of the locking hub on, I'm going to take some grease and my fancy Q-tip here and just put some on the splines all the way around. Don't need to go crazy, just so it isn't completely dry in here. I'm also going to put some in this part as well. Now we're going to grab the inner gasket. All right, I've got 2 of the screws started just so we can get it lined up and started there. Snug that down. Now we just put the rest of these screws in. Yeah, they look pretty nice, huh? 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. Let's jack up the Jeep just to make sure the mechanism is working. All right, this is 2-wheel drive. Let's put the camera in a little closer. Keep your eye on the drive line again. And I'll spin the wheel. So the wheel is free spinning, and the axle and the differential and the front drive shaft are stationary. That's exactly what these things do. Now if we come over here, turn it to 4-wheel drive and spin the wheel again. Now it's re-engaged to the axle. So that's pretty easy and straightforward, right? We're done with this side. So let's go to the other side, then we'll take it for a drive. All right, let's fire this thing up, take it for a short drive, see if we can notice any difference on the top speed and or the interior noise, and maybe we'll even get some gas while we're out. We'll let it warm up just a bit before we hit the road. Yeah, let's turn the heater on, why not? It's about 39 degrees outside. Stop for gas real quick and also stop at O'Reilly's for something. Now we're back on the road. The heater really feels good, I can feel it. So that was a great repair we made a few videos ago. This thing is actually a little bit faster now, top speed. It's hard to say because it's just subjective. I'm also really happy with this top. Of course it's not airtight, but I don't feel any drafts at all. To check the speedometer for accuracy here. Turn on the GPS if I can do it without crashing or getting arrested here. Oh, so far it looks to be right on the money. 25, 25. Drive. It feels really good. I can swear it's going a little bit faster now. Not much, a few miles per hour faster. But when your top speed is only 30 or 35 in the first place, you know, 4 or 5 miles an hour is a big deal. I was doing 40 pretty easily before I had to push it to do 40. Couple things I'm noticing here. By the way, if you're new to this series on this vehicle, this is really only the second or third time that I've really driven it. The water temperature gauge is not working, and the voltmeter does not appear to be working. Either that or we lost our alternator. We're going to get out and check that real quick, and then I'm going to get out and lock the hubs in. We're going to drive around the property in four-wheel drive just to make sure that still works too. Well, the alternator did in fact stop working. It's always something, isn't it? We'll add that to the list of things to check in the next video, the alternator and water temp gauge. Hopefully the alternator will be something simple. Anyway, let's lock these hubs into four-wheel drive. All right, we'll select 4 low. There we go. Well, the hubs seem to work perfectly. That was a pretty easy and straightforward installation. I think they look good. I think that was a great upgrade for this vehicle, and I swear I think we got a few more miles per hour out of the top speed. Besides fixing the alternator and now the water temperature gauge too, I still have a few more upgrades that I want to do to this Jeep. So if you're not subscribed yet, please consider doing that now. If you want to see more in the future what happens to this rig. I think it's going to be an absolute blast once we get all the kinks worked out. I'm going to try to keep this one nice. I'm going to try to keep the cover on it when I'm not using it because the paint is so nice on this and everything else. I hope to see you guys on the next video, and thanks for watching.